And we're going to get started. So hi everyone, nice to have you with us, and I hope you all had a good weekend and managed to keep yourselves busy somehow. So today's session is our first craft session. Now don't worry if you don't have the things with you, you can still take part in the session and you can do it in any way you like. So you can do playing with toys or sensory play or anything you like, but we are also going to be making a superhero mask. Okay, so we have got our superhero cape on already, and now we're going to make a mask to go with this. So I hope you've got all your craft equipment if you are joining in, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to be lying on the floor in a nice comfortable position, and you want to just prop your child up with a few cushions so that they can help you do some eye pointing or whatever type of communication your child uses, just so that they can help you do this for now, okay? So I'm going to use, so we're just propping up your child's head with a few cushions so that they can have a look at what we're doing. So depending on how big your child is, you might need more or less. And I'm just going to move this camera a tiny bit. There we go. Okay, now while your child is sitting in this position, before we start with our warm-up, we're just going to do some choosing of how we want our mask to look, okay? So we're going to have some paper. So you need to get your card, Okay, we've got paper, and we're going to draw a mask. Now this can either be an eye one, it can be pointing up at the side, however you like your mask, and if your child can help you to choose, then that's amazing. And we're just going to fold your piece of paper in half, and we're going to draw half the mask on one side, and then we're going to cut that out with scissors, okay? So we're going to have little pointing ends at the side, a bit like Batman. And then we're going to do an eye hole. There we go. And we're just going to cut that out with scissors. And then we're all going to make our masks look really special and really unique. And then maybe you can even put some pictures on it to show me what your mask looks like afterwards. And we're going to cut the eye holes out. There we go. And now you should all have a nice mask. If you're still doing choosing, that's absolutely fine. I'm going to be doing some nice talking to start with. So continue with this while I just talk you through what we're doing next, okay? So don't worry about doing this together. I'm just showing you first. And we're going to start by warming up our arms and our legs with some superhero poses, okay? So for when you're ready, so we're not joining in yet, but we're just going to have your child in a more flat position, probably with one cushion under their head, so make sure they can still see what's going on, and their neck is bent a little bit. Hello Lindsay and Toby, hi, nice to have you joining us today. Okay, so not doing it together yet, you can still carry on cutting your masks, but the first thing we're going to do is a superhero pose with one arm up and the opposite leg up, okay? Now if your child's bigger and they have lots and lots of high tone, then you might need to bend both legs up first, do some gentle rocking movements, and if bending their knees is really hard, then you want to try and bend their hips first with their legs straight, and that should then help you to get their knees bent, okay? And then when both of their knees are bent and they're nice and relaxed, you can let one go. Don't worry if it's not completely straight, just let it go where it is. Your child might bend it up as well, which is fine. And we're gonna have one leg up, and then we're gonna have our hand under here. So you want your hip at 90 degrees, and then your hand is gonna come round and straighten your knee. And at the same time, we're going to lift the opposite arm up and do a superhero pose. And we can go Superman or Superwoman or Wonder Woman or whoever your favourite superhero is, okay? So we're going to do that all together. Hopefully you've all got your masks ready, okay? So we're just going to start with bending both legs, especially if your child has a lot of stiffness. Hello Amelia and Safi, and you're making the masks as well. Wow, show me a picture when you're finished. Okay, so we're going to start with bringing both of our legs up, and we're just going to do some gentle rocking movements, especially if your child has lots and lots of stiffness. And if your child tends to move their whole body when you do this, you can have one hand just on their chest or their trunk, and we're just going to move those hips to just separate that trunk and that pelvis, the movements, and this will help to relax your child. You can do some gentle circle movements, and even if your child doesn't have high tone, this is quite a nice stretch to do, especially if they've been lying down or sitting in their wheelchair all morning. Maybe you've been doing some schoolwork in your chairs, or maybe you've been having fun and doing playing. Okay, and then when your child is nice and relaxed, we can let go of one leg, and then we're just going to bend this leg up. So if you've got a bigger child, come up onto your knees so that you keep your back straight. So we've got hip at 90, the leg is going on your arms, you can keep your back straight, and we're just going to gently bring that up to resistance to stretch the hamstrings. And we're going to lift our opposite arm up, and just a little bit of pressure below the elbow. If you have a really big child with lots of stiffness, don't worry at all. Just do one leg at a time, that is fine. And all the way up, and we're going to hold it there. Okay, so just go to resistance, and we're going to hold it there like a superhero for 10 seconds. Good work, everyone. It's a really nice stretch for the back of the knee. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and well done, excellent work. And we can come out of that superhero pose, and now we're going to do the same on the other leg. So come round to the other side, especially if you've got a bigger child, to look after your back. I'm going to show you for the camera from this side. So if you need to, again, we're going to go up with both legs, and we're just going to do some gentle rocking. If your child's legs are very, very stiff out straight, then try to help them come up and bend at those hips. Once the hips are bent, then that should be easier for you to bend the knees. And we're going to do some gentle rocking again, break up all of that high tone, some little circles. Okay, and now we're going to bring the other leg up, so keeping that hip at 90, and we're going to have our hands under the knee and bring that leg up just until you feel resistance. It might be down here, it might be here. And then we're going to bring the opposite arm up, just supporting from under the elbow, or sorry, on top of the elbow, wherever the hand is. And that gives you a nice chest stretch as well. And both together, we're going to go Superman, Superwoman, and we're going to hold it there. Nice stretch in your superhero pose. We're going to hold it for 10. Keep it going, well done. And you might be able to just get the leg a little bit further up now, a bit more of a stretch. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well done, everyone. Excellent work. Brilliant. Okay, so now we're going to roll over onto our side. But before we do that, to help our children so that they can do a little bit more of it themselves, we're just going to warm up our rotation of the spine. Okay, so this time we're going to bring both legs up into a flex position with our feet flat on the floor. Mum and Dad, especially if you have a big child, you might need to sit at the end and just stabilise the feet in between your knees. And then we're going to bring those knees round towards the floor on one side, and we're going to have your hand on their shoulder on the other side, and you're just going to go until you feel any stiffness or resistance, and you're just going to hold it there. That's a nice twisting spine stretch. And if your child has really high tone, again, you can just do some gentle shaking movements just to help get rid of that high tone. And we're going to hold it there for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and up. And your child's knees might get all the way to the floor, or they might not get to the floor. Wherever it goes, it's fine. If your child has scoliosis, you'll probably find they go all the way to the floor one way and nowhere near the floor the other way. Both of them are still a really good stretch. So still do them both ways, and just don't push it to try and go the same as the other side. So all together, knees up, feet flat on the floor. We're going to bring those knees to the other side and hand on the chest. If your child's really big and you need 2 hands on the knees, again, absolutely fine. They're still going to get a really nice stretch. And we're going to hold it there for another 5. And you might find you can go a little bit further as your child warms up. 4, 3, 2, 1, well done, and up again in the middle. And we're going to do 2 more of them, and this time we're not going to have a hand on the shoulder. We're just going to allow gravity to do the work and your child's body weight to give them the stretch. So both legs together and all the way to the other side. Try to bring them as close to the floor as you can. If you feel resistance, then stop. And this time their shoulder might come off the floor a little bit, and that's fine. And we're going to go all the way as close to the floor as we can and let your child's spine move to get that nice twisting stretch. And we're going to hold it there for another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well done, and up. And we're going to go round to the other side. And again, if your child has scoliosis, you'll probably find their trunk moves a lot more one way than the other. And that's fine, but just don't try to make both sides equal. And we're going to bring your knees round as close to the floor as you can and hold them there for another 10. Well done, everyone. Hello, Oliver and Becky again. Nice to see you again. And hello, Ellie. Hi, Ansh. Hello. And hello, Mason. Well done for working hard. Okay, so now we've got all of that nice rotation in our trunks. This is getting us ready to roll over. So for this one, we're going to need lots and lots of cushions, especially if you've got a bigger child. So we're going to get our cushions out and ready. And I have explained all of this in Sideline before, but I will do it again in case anyone is joining us for the first time. So you can just watch the first time if you need to, that's absolutely fine. We are going to make sure there's enough room for the cushion to roll over so your child's head will still be on the cushion and not on the floor. We're going to bring the arm that you're rolling towards either out to the side or up above, either is fine. And then we're going to bring the leg on the opposite side into a bent position, and we're going to help your child roll over with help at their hip and at their knee. And if you've got a big child who might like to roll back again, have a cushion ready to put behind them as soon as we're over. Okay? So all together, we're going to make sure we've moved the cushion up so there's room, arm out to the side, one leg bent the opposite side which you're rolling towards, and we're going to help your child go over at their knee and at their hip, rolling over onto the side, and bring that arm round and put a cushion behind them. Okay? Now when your child is on their side, we're going to have their top leg propped up on a cushion, and their top leg is bent and the bottom leg is straight. Now if your child keeps rolling back over onto their back again, you can have both legs bent, and this will just help give them a wide base of support and a bit more stability. And this position is really nice because it allows your child to relax. It's lots and lots of gravity and lots of support, and it helps your child to get lots of purposeful movement with their hands, and it also really helps to get rid of that high tone as well. Now you want your child's head to be straight, so not tilted up and not tilted down. So if you've got a tiny child, then a big cushion might be a little bit too much. So you just want to make sure your child is straight, and the same with their knee, not pointing up, not pointing down. You might just need a rolled up towel if you've got a smaller child. And if your child has lots and lots of extension tone, then you can just help them bring their head forward. Usually if you get rid of the extension tone in the head, then that helps the whole body to relax and be nice and flexed, okay? And you can use another cushion behind the head if that's what you need to do. I'm just going to bring the camera, and when you're in this position, we're going to have our masks in front of us so that we can do some decorating, and our pens and glitter and whatever else you might be using. We got some sequins and some glitter glue pens. Okay, so here we go. We've got a cushion just here for the knee, so we don't want the knee up like this and we don't want the knee down. We just want it nice and neutral. If it's up, then it rotates all of the spine and we want everything to be nice and aligned. And the cushion at the head, again, we don't want the head up and we don't want it down. We want it nice and neutral. And then one just behind the back. You can use more or less cushions depending on the size of your child. Okay, and now while your child is in this position, we're going to all decorate our masks together. You can do whatever you like. You can make up a superhero name for yourself. And in this position, I want you to help you use your child's, especially their top hand, okay? So you can put a pen in your child's hands. And when you assist your child to use their hand, do it as far away as you possibly can, okay? So you might need to come right all the way up to their wrist to help them draw. Or if you can, then you can bring your child's hand, you can bring your hand closer towards their elbow, okay? So towards their elbow means that they have now got freedom to move their own wrist and their own hand and to do some of their own drawing. And if you can move the support even further away above the elbow, that now means that your child's got even more freedom to move their own hand. But they might need more support, in which case you can move your hand further down, that's fine. And for a little bit of a stretch, we're going to start with our mask a little bit further away. So put the mask as far as your child's wrist is, and we're all going to reach over for a nice stretch to our shoulder to do some drawing on our mask. Okay, so we're going to have the pen in your child's hand, and all together we're going to come forwards, do a nice forwards reach for a stretch to that shoulder. We're going to do some eyebrows on ours. We're going to do a big S for Supergirl. Okay, and then you can bring it a little bit closer, and when it's closer to your child is really when you want them to get some of the movement themselves, okay? So try and hold that arm as far away as you can. If your child's got lots and lots of extension tone really kicking in, again, try to flex their body a bit more. So you might need to bend their head forward a little bit more, get rid of that tone in their neck, and you can also help to bend their whole trunk forward, okay? Now if you've got a really, really big child, I'm going to show you another way you can do this against a sofa. So carry on decorating your masks, everyone, and I'm just going to go through some ideas here, and by all means either do them now or do them in your own time. Just take these exercises away and do what you like with them. Got a few more hellos. Hello, hi Matthew and James, hello, nice to have you with us. And hello Heidi, hi Heidi. Okay, so everyone continue to decorate your masks, and I'm just going to give you some ideas for bigger children. You can do it now or in your own time, but sometimes having something firm to lean against can really, really help. If you've got a really big child with lots and lots of neck extension, then me telling you to bring their head down is probably impossible, because they're going to be a lot stronger than your hand, because it's your child's whole body producing that movement. So one thing that you can do is lie your child against something rigid like a sofa. You're going to wait until they're nice and relaxed. Flex their hips and their knees, because that's something you can flex in this position. And again, if their legs are really, really stuck, then you can bring their hips round, flex their hips first and then their legs. And after a few minutes, when your child is nice and relaxed, you can then bring their whole body round, and this will flex their head for you against the sofa, okay? And that way you are not trying to flex their head with your hand. And once their head is and their neck is flexed, make sure it's something soft but also firm and not movable. And usually when they're in this position, which is kind of a bit like the fetal position, this is usually very, very comfortable for your child, and everything kind of relaxes. And when that's relaxed, then you can get much more purposeful movement with your child's hands. Okay, well done everyone. I hope your masks are looking good. And the next thing we're going to do is get into another position. So we're going to move all of your masks above the cushion, okay? So you're all still on your side. I'm going to get on our side. There we go. So now we're going to move everything above your cushion. There we go. And we are going to go from side lying into lying on our tummy. Okay? So from this position, what we're going to do is, first thing is take away the cushion behind the back. And we're going to take away the cushion from in between the legs. Now either your child might have already rolled over, or we're going to help your child roll over by bringing their underneath arm either out to the side or above their head, and it coming over with the hip and the knee just like we did before. Now if your child lies on their tummy with no cushions, then you're just going to take the cushion from their head away. Or if your child usually has a wedge, then you can get their wedge, or we can use cushions under our chest, okay? So I'm going to take this off just for a minute so you can all see. Now I'm going to do it with a cushion under our chest. If you're doing it with the wedge, just put this in the same place, or you might need to hoist your child on the wedge, in which case you have time to do that now. So I'm going to take this cushion away, and we're going to end up lying on the cushion for a bit of chest support. So I'm going to put the cushion on the side, underneath the arms, make sure it's under the arms from here and downwards, otherwise our arms will be in the way. And we're going to bring both arms over, and we're going to bring the further leg up and out to the side, and again we're going to help your child roll over with their hip and their knee and onto the cushion, and then you'll probably need to adjust that cushion and bring it underneath you. Okay, and we're going to come on your tummy and do some more decorating of our masks on our tummy. And I'm just going to show you if you have your child on a wedge. So if your child is smaller and you're using a wedge, then that should be fine to do this as well. If you've got a bigger child, you probably want to hoist them on their back on the wedge and then roll them over onto their front, okay? So if you've got a small child in a wedge, then you're just going to have the wedge here. We're going to take away this cushion, okay? And the wedge is you want the tallest part of the wedge underneath your child's arms, okay? So we are going to do the same thing. So the wedge you can see is here, it's underneath her arms, and I'm going to help her with the outermost leg in a bent position and the hip, so at the knees and the hips, make sure that arm is out to the side, coming over and on top of the wedge, and then you'll probably need to slide your child over a little bit so they are in the middle. Don't want anyone sliding off. And now we are on our wedge. Okay? Now in this position, we're going to be leaning through our forearms. If we're leaning through our arms, that's going to be too difficult to use our hands and to do some decorating. So we want to be leaning through our forearms. So if you have a really tall wedge that you normally lean through with your hands, then you probably need something under here, like a box or a therapy bench or a cushion. I'm going to do it just on a cushion so I can show you. So we're going to bring your child forward enough so that their shoulders are at a 90-degree angle and their elbows are also at a 90-degree angle, and we're going to bring those elbows nice and close in towards the side of their body, and that should help them to bring their head up in a purposeful way. So you want to try and avoid this. Arms coming out to the side, that's a really difficult position to lift your head up. We're going to bring those arms into the middle, and then we're going to have the pen in your hand, mask in front, and either you can help your child to move their hand like this to do some drawing, or you can be encouraging them to lift their head up to do some choosing of colours or sequins or whatever fun things you've got. And again, try to support your child from their elbow if you can, and have a pen or glitter in their hand and try to get them to do as much moving as they can actively themselves. We're going to do some green this time. Okay, so I'm just supporting at the elbow, and we're going to do some colouring right and left. Maybe you can write your name on it, or maybe you can come up with a superpower name. Good work. Right, now while your child is in this position, we're just going to do some stretches as well. So we're just going to go through some ankle stretches. So either if your child is okay with holding their head up, then you can leave them like this. Otherwise, we're just going to slide your child back a little bit, just so that their arms are now slightly on the cushion, and this will give them a little bit of a rest while we do some stretches. And then we're going to come behind and we're going to do some feet stretches. And this is good for our calves. We're going to stretch our calves out. So we're going to bend one knee to about 90 degrees. And then we're just going to cup the foot and the heel in your hand, and we're going to slowly bend that foot down. I'm just going to show you the position of the foot. So we're going to slowly bend that foot down like that. Okay? But you want to do it with your whole hand on it so that you are protecting yourself. If you've got a much bigger child, you might need to kneel up like this and their foot might come up to here, in which case you can use your whole forearm to put that stretch on. Children's feet are very, very strong, and this muscle here, the gastrocnemius, is the most powerful muscle in the whole body. So you want to make sure you're not just trying to move it with your arm, especially if you've got a bigger child. You want to be using your whole body to do that movement, just to protect your back. And we're going to come down and up, and we're going to start off with just doing a few up and down movements just to loosen that stiffness. And again, if your child has really, really high extension tone and both legs are stuck in extension, then what you can do, have a hand on their hips and bring both legs up together. You might need to do some gentle rocking movements just to inhibit that tone, side to side, and then you might have them up, and then you can let one go down and then do the movement. So hopefully everyone is ready, and we're just going to go down. We're going to do some waving with your foot, and up and down and up and down and up and down, and then we're going to swap legs and do it with the other one, and down and up. And you'll probably need two hands if you've got a bigger child. There we go. We're going to put some sequins on our mask. I think we want a nice shiny one. There we go, good work. Okay, and then let go. And now if your child has been holding their head up this whole time and leaning through their forearms, we're now going to bring everyone back. We're going to slide them back a little bit so their arms are more supported on the wedge or on the cushion, okay? And this way we can do some more purposeful movements on our masks when we're a bit more supported. So we are just going to slide your child back, and now their shoulders are nice and supported on the cushion. And this allows for a bit more of a shoulder and a chest stretch through here. And now your child should be able to move their hands a little bit more purposefully. So again, we might be able to do some sticking and some gluing in this position. And it should be a little bit easier for your child to lift their head up now. We're going to do some purple glitter glue. And again, just you can do a mixture of hand over hand movement if you need to, especially for any really, really intricate fine motor things. But if it's something that can be a big swiping movement, then try to support your child's arm as high up as you can and let them have freedom to move around. We're going to do some orange. Is anyone making a mess yet? We're not yet, but I think we might do soon. And this is a really nice stretch, especially for those hips as well. Without you even doing a stretch, just being in this position gives your child a really nice hip stretch. We've got some silver, loads of different colours. Okay, now in a minute, so you can all just watch me to start with, we're now going to do a side lie onto our other side so that we can use our other hand and do some more decorating of our masks, okay? So just watching me to start with. First we're just going to move our masks out the way, so you can carry on just watching me now. Definitely don't want to, excuse me, don't want to roll onto our mask or we might ruin it. Okay, so we're going to be going back onto our back. I'm going to show you the same way. Obviously you're going onto the opposite side that we were before. So I'm showing you from a cushion. You can do similar on a wedge. If your child is on a wedge, then they can actually stay on the wedge in side lying if you want. That's up to you. Side lying on a wedge is absolutely fine as long as your wedge is long enough for your child. Okay, so from lying on their front, we're going to bring a cushion to the side so that their head is going to have something to lie on, and we're going to help your child roll over. Make sure their underarm is out the way, so it's not tucked in against their body. It's either up or it's down on the floor. That's fine, just not down by their side. And we're going to help your child over. We might need to go on our back first if your cushion or wedge is too big, and then we can move that cushion or wedge out the way, and then we're going to go into side lying again. Okay, so from your tummy, we're all going to do this together now, so make sure that mask is out the way. Okay, so make sure you've got a cushion to the side ready for your child's head, and make sure their lower arm is out the way, so it's not down by their side. You want it up forwards or out to the side is fine. And we're just going to help your child roll over from their hip and their knee if they need to, and all the way over, and then we're going to move that cushion or wedge out the way, or you can stay on your wedge. It's completely up to you. And now we're going to come into that side lying position again on the opposite side this time. So cushion ready if your child is likely to roll over backwards, and another one for their knees. So again, you just want to move the cushion up, make sure they've got enough room for their head. We're going to bend the opposite leg, make sure this arm is out straight and out the way, and then we're going to help your child come over from their knee and from their hip into side lying, arm over, cushion behind their back, and then a cushion in between their legs. Okay? And then we can bring the mask in front of you again, and we're going to do the last little bits on your mask now before we put the string on and try them on. So again, you just want to be helping your child do as much as possible that they can, so holding their arm nice and high up and doing lots of big movements like this. That's a really good shoulder stretch, and it encourages your child to do lots of movement. So try to hold your child's arm above their elbow or at their elbow if you can, and this allows them freedom to move their forearm and their wrist. If you need a little bit more support, go down the arm and hold them and try to allow them to have some movement of their wrist as well. And you can also do that if you're going off of your mask and out to the corners. Okay. And we're going to do the last bit of decorating on your masks. I wonder what all of yours look like. We're going to put some sequins on ours. Oh, we've got a butterfly sequin. And you can do some choosing in this position. If your child wants to choose what things they put on. Maybe you've got some stickers. We've got some nice pink flowers. And again, with these fine motor skills, you might need to just hold your child's hands. So you might need to do hand over hand for those ones, because they are super tricky. With gluing, maybe you can hold their arm a little bit further up. Very good. Wow, good work everyone. I wonder what your masks are looking like. And leave a little bit of room at the sides for some holes for the string. Good work everyone, really good job. And in a minute I'm just going to go through the other type of side lying. If your child is a bigger child or has lots and lots of high tone, then I'll go through that one again for anyone who might have missed it or who's just signed in. So carry on decorating your masks and see if you can finish them off while you're in this position. And again, I'm just going to show you that other one for children, and you can just take this away and do it in your own time. So if you've got a big child with lots and lots of stiffness and high extension, then you can just have them inside lying up against something that is soft but is firm and is not going to move. And then we're going to bend your child's knees and hips as much as you can in this position. And then you will wait for them to relax, okay? And you might need to wait a few minutes to get them to relax in this position, because it's a different position to what they're used to, especially if your child constantly goes in extension tone. And then when your child's relaxed in their position, we're going to move their whole body so that their head stays against here and their head is now flexed. And getting rid of that neck and extension tone can really help to flex the whole body and inhibit that tone and relax your child so that they can use their hands to do lots of playing or functional things. So to do that, we are going to keep all of this in a bent position, and we're just going to come round like that, and then their head is now flexed against the sofa. Okay, so I'm just going to bring the camera around so you can see that as well, and this is for those of you who are interested to try this in your own time. So you can just see there that the head, I can't bring it any closer than this I'm afraid, but the head is in a nice flexed position. If I move her arm out the way, maybe you can see that now the head is flexed up against the sofa. Okay, so that is something that you can do. You can take away and do that in your own time. I used to do that with a little boy doing joint music therapy sessions, and he used to bang the drum in that position, and that was the only position that he could use his hands. So it can be very useful, especially for really strong children. Okay, so from a side lying position, hopefully you've all finished your masks now, or finished the decorating. And now to do the last bit, we're going to come up for a hamstring stretch into a semi-sitting position. So if you've got a wedge, you can use this, or otherwise you can use lots of cushions. Now some children might be able to sit all the way up with lots of support, others might only be a little bit. I'm just going to show you some ideas, and after this is finished it will be a nice relaxing position, so your child by all means can stay there for a little while trying on their mask or doing some other activity, or you can just have a little stretch now and come straight out of it. Okay, so from a side lying position we're now going to come over onto our backs. So we're going to take away the cushion between our legs first, and then the cushion behind. And we're going to make sure this cushion is moved over backwards so that we can come round and lie onto our back. And you're going to support your child at their hip, okay? Or they might already flop over themselves. You might be able to roll yourself. So all together, we're going to go from a side lying position. Make sure you've moved the cushion back so they've got enough room for their head. And we're going to come over and onto our back. Wow, well done, good work everyone. And now we're just going to put our gaiters on if you use these. If you don't, then no worries. We've got some gaiters which match our superhero cape. There we go. And if anyone wants a little tutorial on gaiters, you probably already know how to put them on if you have them, but just some tips which I find really useful to get children with really tight hamstrings. Push above the knee, so never put lots of pressure on the knee. You're pushing above the knee. You're going to have the gaiter underneath to start with. Gaiters are really tricky for very wriggly children. Okay, so you're going to have it under there with all the Velcro ready, and if your child has really tight hamstrings and lots of tone, you want to make sure that you're in a good posture, so back up straight. Mine is not, because then I can't see you in the camera, so ignore my terrible posture. I want my face to be in the camera. So we're going to come down and we're going to push above the knee. Okay, now if your child's knee keeps going up, then that means their tone is still there. So we're not going to do the gaiter up while your child's leg is still wriggly. We're going to bring your child's leg down and we're going to wait for them to relax. Now to get them to do that, you might want to do some side movements. You might want to stabilize their pelvis and do some side movements to break up that. Extension tone happens when all of the joints in the body extend all together. So by separating these movements, we are going to have much more chance of relaxing your child, okay? So you're going to really wait till your child is relaxed before you do it up. And if you have to sit there and wait for 5, 10, 15 seconds before you do it up, that's fine. The pressure is going on the thigh and the shin, above and below the knee, not on the knee. And then when your child is finally relaxed, you're going to have one hand above the thigh. You're going to bring the gaiters round as tight as you can. So gaiters are not on for a long amount of time, so don't worry too much about being tight. And while it's there, you're going to pull the middle strap, the most middle one you have, all the way round and leave it there. Okay, don't worry about this fluffy bit of Velcro. You're just going to pull it round, leave it, and then above the knee next, and then below the knee next, because you need to do that really quickly. And then after that's done, you can do those flappy bits up underneath. Okay? If you're doing the flappy bit all the way round while your child's extension tone is kicking in, then chances are your child's leg is going to be bent by the time you've put them on. Okay? If you're worried about how tight they are, you can always look at your child's feet and feel it as well. If it goes kind of bluey, or if it gets cold, then take it off. It shouldn't be tight enough to do that, especially because we are wearing another layer underneath. And you just want to make sure there is no strip of metal at the front of the knee. All the strips of the hard stuff inside the gaiters need to be around the outside or the back of the knee and not directly on it, because this can lead to pressure on the knee and marking, because the knee is very bony. So when we've got our gaiters on, we're then just going to help your child either into a semi-sitting position, or if you're comfortable getting your child into sitting, you can do that as well, either against the sofa, on your wedge, or with lots of cushions. Try to make sure your child bends at their hips and you're not bending their back up like this. Bending at their hips means that they're going to get a nice hamstring stretch. So to do that, you can bring your child up and just put the cushions in below their trunk at their hips. Okay, use as many cushions as you need to in a nice supported sitting position. And then we're going to come to the legs. Now as you bring their trunk up, you're putting more and more of a stretch on the hamstrings. So just like you would if we were stretching the hamstrings and lying, you want to do it slowly and gradually. So it might be that just having the gaiters on themselves are a stretch. You might have to leave it for a few minutes, prop your child up a little bit, leave it for a few minutes, sit your child up a little bit more, and you might find that after 5 minutes of doing an activity, your child can now sit up more now that their hamstrings are nice and warm. When you're in this position, you want the feet pointing up towards the ceilings, not out to the side, and not in the middle. Those feet pointing up is the main thing that gets those hamstrings stretched. If you have a Jenks wedge, you can strap the Velcro across, and that can help keep the feet up. You can use lots of makeshift things, string tied up. And for an adductor stretch as well, you can also bring the legs apart a little bit. Don't force that one, they're really sensitive muscles, so go very, very slowly, never go past resistance, a tiny little centimetre at a time, and then you can put a rolled up towel or a cushion in between there. I'm going to put a cushion, but make sure those feet are still pointing up, okay? So if you have to bring the legs in more to get the feet pointing up, then do that, okay? So now we're in a nice hip stretch position and hamstring stretch. You might need to bring cushions around the side if your child needs support in sitting, okay? And now you can make some holes in the sides of your masks. So if you've got a hole punch or some scissors, we're just going to make some holes in the side. And all together we're going to try our masks on. I wonder what all of your masks look like. Ours is very, very girly, I think. We just had sequins and glitter. And then using your string, you might want to just measure your child's head at the back. There we go. We're just going to tie it on. And then we can all put our masks on together. Oh, ours is a little bit wet still. Oopsie daisy. I think I have to put our cape on as well, so we look like a... if any of you got superhero outfits you can wear as well, or any outfits. There we go, we've got our mask on. And we're going to put our cape on as well. Wow! Right, I wonder what all of your masks look like. So while you've got your mask on, or if you need to leave it to dry first, that's fine. We're going to do one last big stretch, and we're going to do a big superhero pose with 2 hands up to stretch our chest muscles and to do a big well done and goodbye to everyone. So you might want to just come behind your child for this one, or wherever is easiest for you, depending on how big your child is. And we're going to lift our arms up and try to support your child from the higher side of their elbow, so above their elbow, or below if your child's arms are still pointing down. And we're going to come up, and all together we're going to go superhero. Amazing, well done everyone. And we're going to bring them down, and we're going to come back up again, and this time we're going to do some waving goodbye. So we're going to bring it side to side for a stretch, a bit of a trunk stretch there, and then down again. And this time we can do a big thumbs up or a high five or some more waving. And last one, well done everyone, excellent work. And I think we've got a little visitor who wants to say well done. Now this is our mask. We've got some S's for superhero and some sparkly glitter and sequins. And I'm just going to go and get a little visitor who wants to say well done. And this is Obi. Obi says, well done. Here he is. I don't know if you can see him very well in this light. Ah, he says, well done everyone, really good work, and hopefully we will see you again soon. Goodbye everyone, nice to see you today, bye.